Good morning. I'm Allison with Black Dog Gardens and Nursery, and we are in our rose garden at home, specifically in front of what we call the herbaceous border. And this is one of our favorite part of the garden at the time. It gets the most sun out of pretty much our whole yard. And Ken has the automatic watering set up, so they're getting what they need in terms of water. And it's just a real cacophony of different plants and colors. We've put a lot of dark foliage plants in the border, like this dahlia here. Over on the left is a ginger lily that we put in recently. Aster there. And this is a dark foliaged persicaria. It's called Chocolate Dragon. This is one of our favorite delphiniums down here, this beautiful salmon colored delphinium. A little bit unusual color for a delphinium. Another delphinium back there that hasn't bloomed yet, and a dahlia. And down here is a whole different persicaria that's a little bit more low to the ground. They come in so many different types. Fleece flower, commonly. And then this section, sort of bordered by all this beautiful yellow rudbeckia, is our New Zealand garden. So this is where we'll be doing a little bit of yoga this morning. A short 10 to 15 minute practice, which is a great way to start your day, whether you are headed to the office chair, which is where I'm going after this, or gearing up for a big day in your garden or yard, moving pots, digging holes, planting plants. So whatever you have going today, this can help to set you up for feeling good while doing it. So if that sounds good to you, grab your mat, have a seat. We're going to start in a cross-legged position, and let's get started. So take a moment to arrive here in your practice. Roll your shoulders back and down. Settle on to your sitting bones. Settle into this moment. Remember you have a body and inhabit that body. Check in and see how your body's feeling today. Take several deep breaths. We'll kind of start from the bottom up. So to begin, grab whatever foot it is you have in front, and simple thing, give yourself a little foot massage. Our feet are one of our really important foundations in life and in yoga, and it's great to pause and give them a little bit of attention as we're moving into the day. Whatever feels good to you, give your feet a little bit of attention, or at least this one foot for now. The other thing you can do in the morning or occasionally, anytime, is pay attention to your toes. So I like to thread my fingers in between my toes and then flex and point my foot. It sort of opens up the bottom of the feet. Now it might be really uncomfortable to get your fingers in between your toes, so just do, what works for you. Make a little space with your toes. Go ahead and switch which foot is in front in your cross-legged position and return to that bit of a foot rub. And all the while, bring your attention back to your breath now and again. See if you can even out the length and texture of the breath to something like a 3 to 4 second inhale, 3 to 4 second exhale. Okay, try that threading with your toes. Definitely hard for me, especially that baby toe. Flex and point the foot. Let that go. Settle back down into whatever cross-legged seated position is comfortable for you. You can even go into a kneeling position if that's more comfortable, or sit up in a chair. And from here, let's reach our arms all the way up. Big morning stretch. As you're reaching up, lower your shoulders away from your ears. Take a deep inhale here. And on your exhale, let your right arm fall down to your side. Find the mat. Reach up with your left hand and then over and lean to the right. A little bit of contraction you'll feel through your right side, but a big opening through your left. You can take this as far as feels good in your body. You might be bending your elbow. Try to keep that left sit bone in contact with the mat while you do this. And then inhale up. Back to center. Big stretch. Exhale, lower the left hand down to the mat. Inhale, reach the right arm up and over. Explore the sensation on the right side of the body. And don't forget to breathe. On your next inhale, come all the way up. And this time on your exhale, rotate your upper body to the right. Drop your left hand onto your right knee and your right hand behind you for a bit of a seated twist. So when we're seated, our hips are pretty much held to facing forward. So it's a nice way to really dig into moving the upper body in a different direction. So on your inhale, sit really tall. On the exhale, see if you can find a little bit more space to rotate your chest to the right. Maybe even take your gaze back behind you. Take one round of breath here. And then on your next inhale, unwind, reach your hands up to the sky. And exhale, find that other side. So drop the right hand to the left knee, left hand behind you, and gently rotate your upper body toward the left side of the mat. On the inhale, sit tall. On the exhale, try to release and relax into your twist. Maybe take your gaze back behind you. Take one more round of breath here. And on your next inhale, unwind, reach your arms all the way up. And exhale, bring your hands in together at heart center and down by your sides. From here, move over into a tabletop position. So this just looks like hands and knees, wrists are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. You're looking for a flat back in tabletop position. And from here, on your inhale, drop your belly, lift your hips, bring your chest slightly forward and take your gaze forward. This is cow, sort of stretching out our belly. And then on your exhale, reverse that motion, arch your back, press through the back of your shoulders. Bring your chin in slightly toward your chest so you can feel a bit of a stretch in your neck. This is angry cat. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, drop the belly, bring the chest slightly forward, look forward. I can see the Rudbeckia from here. And then exhale, arch the back. Angry cat position. Really good starter for the spine. Inhale, come back to your neutral position. Maybe take a little bit of movement to reset. Exhale, release all that breath from your lungs. And then on your next inhale, extend your right foot behind you. Land with your toes on the mat, or in my case, they're on the bark dust now. And then press through the heel, just a little bit of a stretch for the back of your calf to start. And then crawl your left fingers forward toward the front of your mat. Now this is a great place to stay. There's a little bit of core work here. There's definitely balance here. If you want to, you can float the right foot up and float the left hand up. So this is our bird dog position. Reach out through your fingertips as you press back through your heel. Take a deep breath and release. One more big inhale. Reach through your fingertips, reach through your heel. And then exhale, lower your hand back down to the mat, lower your knee back under your hip, and reset. On your next inhale, extend that left foot back, land your toes on the mat, press back through your heel to start, just to get a bit of that calf stretch sensation. Then you might choose to crawl your right fingertips forward, and you could choose to stay right here. You can also decide to float your left leg up, maybe float your right hand up, and settle in here at bird dog. A little bit of core work, definitely balance, working across the body, which is good for thinking. Take one more round of breath here. And on the exhale, lower your hand down, lower your knee down. Reset. Now from your tabletop position, curl your toes under, bring your hands slightly forward, and press your hips back and up, downward dog. So here in the beginning of our downward dog, your knees might be bent. That will help you sort of lift your hips even higher. You can pedal out your feet to get a sense of how are the backs of my legs feeling this morning. Let your head hang heavy. And then eventually, let your heels settle down toward the mat. They might not touch, and that's totally fine. Press down through your hands as you reach up through your hips. I feel a stretch all the way down my arms when I do this, and it is lovely. Take 2 more rounds of breath here, just settled into your downward dog. And then on your next inhale, bend your knees, look forward, and walk your feet to the front of your mat. That was a sneaky little core exercise, getting our feet up to the front of the mat. Exhale, find a forward fold, hamstring stretch, stretching out the backs of your legs. On your next inhale, press down through your feet and reach all the way up. Exhale, lower your arms down to your sides. Roll your shoulders back and down. So we'll do 1 round of sun salutation, moving with the breath, greeting the day. It begins in Tadasana or mountain pose, the front of your mat. Roll your shoulders up, back and down. Press down firmly through your feet. Look down at your feet. They should be about hips distance apart and parallel. On the inhale, reach all the way up. Reach for the sky. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Let your head hang heavy. Inhale, halfway lift. Bring your fingertips to your shins. Cultivate a flat back. You're making approximately the number 7 with your body. Exhale, forward fold. And with this forward fold, bend your knees as much as you need to plant your hands so you can step 1 foot and then the other foot to the back of your mat. Settle into a brief high plank position. Nice sloping line from your feet to the crown of your head. And then lower your knees to the mat, so we're in modified plank. And with control, bend your elbows, keep them close to your body. Lower your upper body all the way down to the mat. On the inhale, cobra, gently float your chest and your gaze out in front of you. And then exhale, lower your chest back down. On the inhale, press your hands, raise up to your knees, curl your toes under, and take your hips up and back to downward dog. Take 3 big rounds of breath here in downward dog, and you can pedal out your feet, make adjustments as you need to. Enjoy this little break. On your next inhale, bend your knees, look forward, and once again, walk to the front of your mat. And exhale, find that forward fold. On your next inhale, press through your feet, slight bend to your knees, engage your core, and reach all the way up. Maybe you're taking a slight back bend. Exhale, bring your hands into heart and down by your sides. Roll the shoulders back and down, reset. Enjoy the rhythm and the sort of unity with your breath that you can cultivate in that sun salutation. From here, let's stay in Tadasana. Pour your weight down into your left leg. And on the inhale, float the right knee up. So this is a little bit of a sneaky balance. And then step that right foot back, nice big step, to a high lunge position. So there's room laterally between your feet. You can think of it like you're on railroad tracks, not a tightrope. Sink into your legs here in your high lunge position. On the inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Even here with our arms up like this, drop the shoulders away from the ears. Engage your core. Sink into that lunge to feel the stretch on the front of your back leg. And breathe. On your next inhale, let yourself come a little bit out of it and rotate the back foot so it's flush with the mat. At about a 45-degree angle, totally flat to the mat. My glute is engaged and I'm pressing really actively back through that foot. Settle back down, Warrior One. In Warrior One, the inclination is to turn our hips to the side, but press your hips forward as much as you can. Use the power of that back leg to try to get them to the front of the mat. And breathe. On your next inhale, lift the back heel once again. Settle in briefly to your high lunge position. Bring your hands to your hips. Bring your weight out over your left front foot and take a big step to the front of your mat. And we're back in Tadasana. Reset. Find your Tadasana mountain pose. Feet hips distance apart and parallel. Nice strong core. Arms down by your sides, shoulders down. On the inhale, bring your weight into that right foot now and float your left knee up. Take that big step back into your high lunge position and settle into your 2 legs. Again, we've got some lateral space. I'm going to widen mine a little bit between the feet for stability. It will also help when we move into our Warrior One position. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Deep breaths here. Dropping the shoulders away from the ears. On your next inhale, come out of your lunge a little bit and rotate that back foot down to the mat so it's flush with the mat. 45-degree angle. Again, you have some space between those feet, so it's more like a railroad track than a tightrope. And settle back in, pulling your hips toward the front of the mat, using the strength of that back leg and that back glute to help you sink into your front knee and reach your arms all the way up. Warrior One. And breathe. On the next inhale, lift your back heel, your back to your high lunge. Bring your hands to your hips. Lean your weight over your front right foot and step back to Tadasana. Maybe take a little movement here at the top of your mat to loosen up your legs once again. And from here, inhale all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands to shins. Reach out through the crown of your head. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees so you can get some purchase with your hands. And step one foot and then the other foot to the back of the mat, high plank for just a moment. Then drop the knees down to the mat. Cross your ankles behind you and walk your hands back so you can press your hips over your heels and then scoot your hips to the front of the mat, or rather to the center of the mat. From here, sit tall, reach your arms out in front, and with control, lower your upper body down to the mat, maybe finding a C curve with your spine on the way down. Reset on the mat. Bring the hips to the center roughly. Press your feet down, your knees are bent. On your next inhale, lift your hips up. Little bit of a bridge. Stretching out the front of the body, engaging the glutes, engaging the backs of the legs. And exhale, lower down. We'll do that one more time with the little bridge. Inhale, reach your hips up. And exhale, lower them back down. Draw your knees into your chest. Maybe make little circles with your knees. And the other way. And then from here, draw your knees up toward your armpits. You might have your hands on your shins, on the front of your shins. This is a version of happy baby. You can also grab onto the outsides of your feet and take the soles of your feet up to the sky. Again, your knees are coming up toward your ribs, toward your armpits. Press down. A little bit of love for our hips. And release your version of happy baby, whatever that might be today. And reach your legs out long. I'm going to move just a little bit on my mat. Draw your right knee into your chest. Give it a hug. Extend the right foot up toward the sky. Hold on to the back of your thigh or behind your calf. A little bit of a hamstring stretch. Now with this hamstring stretch, you can take it slightly across your body to access some sensation on the outer leg, or take the leg to the outside of your body to stretch out the inner thigh. Wherever you are, gently bring your knee back into your chest and use your left hand to draw that right knee across your body for a supine twist. Take your right arm out on the ground at shoulder level to help balance out this twist. And if you want a little bit more sensation, you can take your gaze over to the right side, over to that right hand. And breathe here. Let gravity assist, helping you to relax into this reclined twist. On your next inhale, roll your hips back to the center of the mat. Give your right leg one more little hug and then let it go long. Draw your left knee into your body, give it a hug, and then extend the left leg. Reach the left heel up toward the sky, holding on behind your thigh or behind your calf. Enjoy your hamstring stretch. Look for the sensation that feels good or necessary to you. Maybe that's taking the leg slightly across the body. Feel a stretch in the outer hip and down the IT band. Maybe that's taking the leg to the outside of the body and looking for some sensation in the inner leg. Gently draw your knee back into your chest, and this time use your right hand to draw that left knee across your body for your reclined twist. Extend your left arm out on the ground at shoulder height to balance out your twist. I like to keep that opposite hand on the knee when I do this to give a little bit more weight to work with gravity to get that knee down and feel more in my outer hip. Take a few rounds of breath here, with every exhale trying to release into your twist, relax into your twist. When you're ready, bring your knee back into your chest, roll so your hips are back on the mat, and then extend your left leg long. Reach out through each leg, each foot, settle your legs comfortably onto the mat. Extend your arms down by your sides, palm up. And here, settle into your corpse pose Shavasana to enjoy the benefits of all those movements you just went through. Enjoy them in stillness. You want to stay in your corpse pose or your Shavasana and continue to rest. Please do. You would like to close this practice together. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bring some more movement back to your legs. Draw your knees into your chest. And from here you could roll over to one side and press up, or you can do a little bit of a rock and roll, massaging the spine to come back to a seat where we started on our mat. Roll the shoulders back and down. Bring your hands together in your heart. Thank you for joining me for this practice this morning. Namaste. Have a beautiful day.